All right, hey, this is Act 2 of the podcast. We're getting right back into it. If you missed Act 1, go back and listen to that thing. Otherwise, this isn't going to make any sense. Okay, see ya. However, that was before NASA and Boeing engineers discovered a slew of technical issues with the spacecraft, including helium leaks and propulsion problems. Instead of departing on the spacecraft, Wilmore and Williams had no choice but to watch as the troubled Starliner undocked in September to head back to Earth without them. So I guess they were like fearful that something terrible would happen. They decided to keep the two up there for a few extra months rather than launch an emergency mission to return them to Earth in order to keep the space station fully staffed. I guess they were at the International Space Station. I don't know. In September, the space agency launched the SpaceX Crew 9 mission with 2 astronauts instead of 4 to leave 2 empty seats reserved for those 2. Well, why didn't they come back then? I don't understand that. Sometimes I see these articles and I'm like, come on, just give me the goddamn details. Why the fuck were they up there? Well, anyway, those 2 are coming back. Trump blamed Biden and Harris. Speaking of Trump, I got a lot of Trump news. He's taken some heat because there was a plane full of Venezuelan gang members that were deported. Actually, 2 or 3 planefuls of Venezuelan gang members. They've got tattoos all over their fucking body. All they do is gang-related shit here in the U.S., according to Trump. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They might be like homemakers. They might be doctors. There was some professor who was just at an Ivy League school who was just deported. Like she was in the U.S. on a work visa, and she was like teaching a class. They bust in, said "fuck you," and they put her in shackles and let her off. They put her on a raft and they shoved her off. And they said, "Don't come back." I think that's what happened. Brown University. Deported Brown University doctor acknowledged she attended Hezbollah's leader's funeral on visit to Lebanon. She was deported over the weekend. Dr. Rasha Ilawi. Following her return Thursday from a visit to Lebanon, federal agents at Boston Logan International Airport intercepted. And that was the beginning of the end of her. They're like, we don't give a shit where you're a educator. If you attend the Hezbollah leader's funeral, you got to go. The existence of the photos of the professor at the funeral was outlined in a court filing Monday, obtained by CNN affiliate. Like, even if you're in the country legally, which she says she was, if they find out that you attended the guy's funeral, you're out. Alawi acknowledged to federal agents she attended the funeral in February. Well, she's out. And now all of these gang members are out. And again, they might not even be gang members. It just depends on what you believe. But the White House, they now are posting videos to Instagram that show, like in this case, these Venezuelan gang members with shackles on their legs and on their hands being escorted onto a plane to be dropped off, in this case, to El Salvador. Now, there was a federal judge who weighed in on this and said, hold on, you got to stop. And said that there was some type of humanitarian violation and that they cannot be deported, and actually gave a verbal order for the planes to turn around. Now, what I discovered is that if a plane is in the air and a judge says, bring the plane back, we want these gang members on the street. We want them free to do what they want. So that's what, there was a very liberal judge said that. We want our gang members here in the U.S., and that's the end of it. And demanded, well, Trump defied the order, according to the judge. The judge says, I ordered you to do that. And Trump said, fuck you. Or so it seems. Now, a person speaking under the condition of anonymity with the White House said that is not right. We did not get the so-called order, which was first stated, which is still enforceable, and in writing. We did not see the order until the planes actually were out of U.S. airspace, which supposedly, if a plane is out of U.S. airspace and a judge says, bring them back, that you don't have to. It's like, then it's in the jurisdiction of whatever nation. So that's what the Trump administration said. Well, we didn't get it. People are like saying, well, if the judge says that it's going to take time, it's not like as soon as the judge says it, it's in the brain of the fucking pilot. It's going to take time for that message to get to the appropriate people and then actually send it up to the plane. Yeah, turn it back. The judge said bring it back. So that was it. So now this judge is claiming that Trump defied the order. And, I don't know why anyone would ever act, even if he did, even if the judge said it and Trump said, I don't give a shit what you said. That won't really surprise anybody if he's actually taking the rule of the land in a judicial sense and then doing whatever the fuck he wants. Saying, yeah, what are you going to do about it? He's literally saying, yes, so what? What are you going to do about it? Holy shit. So the White House posted a video, and this is the video that they posted of these same guys, these Venezuelan gang members, and they do look like gang members, I'm not going to lie.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who
of these guys being deported, and they use that song by Semisonic, You Don't Have to Go Home, but You Can't Stay Here. And if you're the band Semisonic, you gotta be like, what? What the fuck? And they actually did. Semisonic is pissed. Semisonic said it did not authorize and does not condone the White House using closing time in the video of getting Venezuelan gang members out of the U.S. Now, all right, everything being equal here, I think Semisonic needs to fuck off because that's a perfect line from the song. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The band said, as this was playing, they go, this is supposed to be a happy song. All right? You can't do that to our song. We did not authorize or condone the White House's use of our song in any way, and no, they didn't ask. If I'm the White House, I say, I don't have to ask. Who gives a shit? So what? all that means is that if anybody watches it, you, the band, Semisonic, you're going to get the revenue generated by that video. And that's true. Like if I make one of my stupid videos and use a Semisonic's closing time, when a video of Diana puking in a garbage can or something like that, the 8 cents that I'll make on that video, that goes to Semisonic. Semisonic says this song is about joy and possibilities and hope, and they have missed the point entirely. I don't know if that's true. I would say if those are gang members, and I think they are, it is joyful for a gang member to be kicked out of the country. So that does fit. Many musicians say they did not authorize President Trump's campaign or administration to use their songs. Last year, Celine Dion's management team and record label Sony Music Canada said the use of her song My Heart Will Go On at a Trump campaign rally in Montana was unauthorized. Rihanna said the same thing. Adele, Steven Tyler, Neil Young. Yeah, I don't think that does anything, though. If I'm Trump, I look up a list of artists that don't like me and then play their music. Because who cares, you know? Wow. So that's what's going on there. Thank you, as always, to the sponsors saying hello this time around to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Buy now, refinance later. 231-332-6505 from anywhere in the U.S. 231-332-6505. Fantastic group of people that can help you out anytime. If you are in the market for getting a pre-approved for a mortgage, they will help you get started. Call, please mention me, 231-332-6505. Tag Accounting. We are getting closer to the tax deadline, less than 1 month away. Reach out to Troy Ginzer from Tag Accounting online at tagcpa.net. tagcpa.net, 616-301-9516 from anywhere in the U.S. Great group of people that will help you get your taxes done. So no matter where you are, reach out to Tag Accounting. 616-301-9516. Thank you if you've taken advantage of Troy's services. David says, I think Semisonic missed the point. Yeah, you got to laugh that shit off. You got to write, wow, this is hilarious, and it seems to work. Don't even write that. If you're Semisonic, who gives a shit? All you're interested in is getting your music heard and somebody fucking, and then making money on it. Who cares? Young Adam Schwab says this is the most that anyone has spoken about Semisonic in over 25 years. Yoda World says the White House and Six Flags have something in common. I don't get it, but I'll take your word for it. Piano Finger Banger is sitting on the potential for being muted for a period of time because prior to me telling that on this show, he decided to tell everyone that Semisonic did not give permission for them to use the song. How could you not see that is where I was going? I don't know what gets into you. What makes you think that you have like the producer chops to do this show? If you're about to say it, that means I'm about to say it. If you're like, oh, I got to say this, Easy doesn't know it. I already know it. I'm going to get to it. Fucking dummy. God damn it. Well, anyway. Molly says that the government should not be allowed on social media. Why? Why would you say that? Aram says, here we go, lecture time. Yeah, well, sometimes we have to do that. I'm doing that for the audience. I'm doing that. I mean, if I'm going to talk about something, asshole, I don't want it spoiled. I want to be able to park on it and have a good time talking about it. Congratulations. I'm no longer bitching about Piano Finger Banger. I'm bitching about you. Here we go, lecture time. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. No one has the ability to annoy me quicker than Aram. One more Trump thing. Maybe more. Biden, he did all those pardons.
From Lemire.
And now Trump is saying that some of Biden's pardons aren't real, that they are were signed by AutoPen, which is a feature that the president, if he's in a faraway place, he can still put his signature to something. And Trump's claim is that Biden didn't actually pardon those people associated with him and his presidency, enacted the AutoPen, basically used it as a means to get a pardon that he wasn't even aware of in any way. And Trump is claiming that those are false pardons, and he wants to rescind those pardons. Is there anything you want to spoil on this story, Piano Finger Banger, before I get into it? This is what they're saying about it.
Actually, we start off with a post that President Trump put out, 12:30 a.m.?
Yeah,
that brought a little news with it.
Yeah, a late night post here from President Trump, who says that all pardons issued by former President Joe Biden are void. Indeed, just a few short hours ago, Trump took to social media accusing his Democratic predecessor of using an auto pen to sign acts of clemency while in office, rather than doing so by hand, thus declaring Biden's pardons not valid. Additionally, Trump claimed without evidence that Biden failed to give consent for preemptive pardons issued to the 9 House Select Committee members that investigated the January 6th insurrection.
Okay, so now what Trump wants to do here is all those assholes on January 6th who Trump pardoned, now he wants to take the 9 people that they just mentioned and put them through the ringer and quote unquote bring them to justice by voiding the pardon and then going after them.
Along with many others granted clemency on the former president's last full day in office on January 19th. So, John Hyman, a few things need to be said here plainly. There's no authority that gives Donald Trump the ability to overturn his predecessor's pardons.
I love watching these guys get so butthurt at Trump doing whatever the fuck he wants. Not that I support that, but just watching how pissed off they get.
The auto pen argument seems nonsensical, but this is clearly a
Actually,
warning in some way.
Actually, it doesn't, if you think about it. Auto pen, so Trump's signature is on, it's like written, and it's all you have to do is click something, and not Trump's. Well, Trump's is, yeah, he uses it too, but Biden's signature is used so that for that reason. Let's say something comes across his desk that he wants to veto or he wants to write into law, but he's not there. He can say yes and agree to it, and then it's clicked, and then it's taken care of that way. It's a technological thing to keep him things moving. So he doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be in front of him. And they're saying, this is nonsensical. This can't be, but it really can be. Because Trump is suggesting that he doesn't even know about those pardons. And he's using Biden's, he was kind of fucked up there. He couldn't even talk, he couldn't even walk. He's freezing. Everybody knows. Biden, anybody who thinks that Biden was of a sound mind at the end there, you're kidding yourself. Okay? He wasn't. We all can agree with that he had lost it long before. Trump's claim is they just used the auto pen, used his signature, issuing pardons left and right that he had no idea about. So I don't know how nonsensical that is.
Particularly at those who on the January 6th committee, those who investigated the conduct of Trump and his allies, saying, and I'll just read from his Truth Social post, they should fully understand that they are subject to investigation at the highest level. And at minimum, John, it feels like another moment where Trump might be daring the courts, daring the judiciary. If he tries to see this through, it'll get appealed. And that appeal will be appealed. And eventually some court is going to have to either say yes or no. And we'll see what the administration, if they agree to abide by it.
Okay, what he just said is all true. And that's exactly what he wants to do. He is absolutely going to use this office to get back at people. And that's what's happening here. Also, there's a possibility that nothing happens because Trump, late at night on Truth Social, firing something out doesn't necessarily mean that we'll ever hear of it again. It could just be one thing. People talk about it, kick it around like a football on TV news shows or whatever the fuck, and then it just kind of fades away like a fucking fart in the wind. It's literally all up to him. If he wants to, he will. If not, who cares? He'll just go on to the next thing. That's kind of how this presidency is.
Yeah, John. There's so, as you said, there are many points to be made here, and it would almost be a joke if it weren't so kind of horrifying. This is consistent with, to your point, the biggest story in our politics, the most foundational story, is this story that you're pointing to, which is the story of Donald Trump continuing to try to enlarge the scope of power that resides in the executive branch and in himself, essentially, as a...
Okay. I'm going to pause it right there. Let me ask you this. If you found out that someone within Trump's inner circle was issuing pardons at some point that he didn't know, let's say Trump's fucked up and someone was actually doing that, you would want to know about that. And so I don't think it's that terrible of a thing to bring up. It's just the only reason why people are pissed off about it is because it's Trump. And I get that. I believe me, I do. If it were anybody else, this would never come up. But you got to understand, this asshole has an axe to grind. So this is how it's going to be. So nothing should surprise anybody at this point. The auto pen and Biden's competency are two different issues. If the auto pen is void, then all of Biden's signatures would be as well. Not necessarily. If Biden, Trump is suggesting that Biden wasn't even aware that these pardons were happening in the first place. If that can be proven, and it probably can't, then you have something. I think he's just throwing it out there just to cause trouble, frankly. If the auto pen is void, then all of Biden's signatures would be as well, which that will obviously never happen. How can they be sure that Biden knew what documents he was signing in real pen? And that, of course, will probably be argued. Yoda World says if they can get Biden to say, I don't remember that, to one of them, they could maybe challenge all of them for sure. Wow. David says Biden needed auto pen because he is lost most of the time. Maureen says, I think Trump throws a lot of shit out there just to see what sticks. Absolutely. My God. Okay, we got to get into the Starbucks $50 million award. A delivery driver was handed the coffee at the drive-thru, and the coffee spilled on the guy. This happened February 8th, 2020. Third-degree burns to his actual dick. This is the video of that moment. Starbucks ordered to pay $50 million to a delivery driver burned by hot beverage. Here you go.
An L.A. jury has hit Starbucks with a $50 million.
Okay, I'm just going to kill this audio. Here she's handing. He's got it. It's in his possession now. She says, "Thank you. Have a nice day." And then somehow it kind of, you can see him frantically moving. I don't know how much of that spilled. Okay. Again, this is in slow-mo. Hands in the goods. There they are. I'm slowly. I don't see that anything is actually spilled. But I guess it did. He then drove off, and maybe the rest of it spilled out of the camera shot. We don't know. This boils down to whether or not you know how like you have those they're not styrofoam, but they're like one of those recycled things that when you put the cup in, you push it down, and those like things that are sticking out in the space kind of hug the cup like that. They have suggested that that the cup was not seated all the way down, didn't wedge in to the takeout tray. The kid said, or the person who's working there, the barista said, "No, I absolutely did that." And the jury agreed that it was negligence on the part of the Starbucks employee and gave Michael Garcia $50 million. He underwent skin grafts and other procedures on his genitals when the venti-sized tea drink spilled instantly after he collected it. He suffered permanent disfigurement and life-changing disfigurement, according to his attorneys. I wonder if they had to show that in court. Like, let's get a before and after look at this dude's dick. Garcia's negligence lawsuit blamed his injuries on Starbucks, that the employee did not wedge it into the takeout tray. I guess my question is, how can you possibly prove that? We couldn't see anything that would indicate one way or the other on the video that we saw. Yet they said, "Yep, $50 million. I don't believe this. This is bullshit, in my opinion." The attorney for the guy with the injuries said it's a critical step in holding Starbucks accountable for flagrant disregard for customer safety and failure to accept responsibility. Starbucks says it sympathized with the guy who got hurt but planned to appeal. "We disagree with the jury's decision that we were at fault for this incident and believe the damage awarded to be excessive." It looked like an accident. I remember there was hot pickle case. There was lady who bit into a burger from, it might have been, doesn't matter what burger chain, and the pickle was hot, and she said it burned her lip. And she sued for like a tremendous amount of money. There was the one in the 1990s where that woman from New Mexico was awarded $3 million when, while trying to pry the lid off of the coffee cup. A judge later reduced the award, and the case was settled for under $600,000. There was the kid who tipped a cup of McDonald's coffee onto himself in Iowa. You know, this is why we can't have nice things. All right? Because in my opinion, outside of like the barista going, "Here you go," and throwing it at him, it's the fault of the guy who receives it. It clearly was in his hand and he spilled it on himself. $50 million? That's fucking ridiculous. There is no way that should be acceptable. I think, wasn't there a time that the McDonald's coffee, it was so hot that they had to lower the temperature of it? Like they serve it really hot, like 190 degrees hot. Yeah, I'm not buying this at all. This needs to go away. I don't understand. I mean, how often do you hear about frivolous lawsuits where they're just like, yeah, this is bullshit. We're not doing this. And this one, they let it slide. Could it be because it's Starbucks? I always hate that when people have a mentality of, yeah, we got to go over big, we got to go after big coffee because they're big and successful. I hate that shit. Molly says, okay, I smoke weed. I burnt my mouth. Who do I sue? Dan says, what the F? I get hit by a car on a bike and I got 50 grand. You did? Jeremy says, I burned the roof of my mouth on a slice of pizza. How much money is owed to me? Yoda World says, also, if they uphold this, won't coffee chains then just decide to get rid of the drive-thru because it's a liability? Probably. Again, this is why we don't have nice things. Because this asshole, this frivolous lawsuit asshole doing that shit. Okay, let's move on. This guy's a former cop. He's in Indiana. Him and his wife have 2 kids. One is, I don't know how old the one kid is, the boy, but he has a 6-year-old daughter. And the 6-year-old daughter is, I guess, a handful. So I guess the 6-year-old kid in this home, Logansport, Indiana, made a crack like, I'm going to kill my brother. Or I'm going to kill you or something like that. Well, and it turns out that the dad of this child is a cop. Well, now dad is in trouble and he's on unpaid leave of absence because him and his wife punished the 6-year-old girl because she said, hey, I'm going to kill my brother or something like that, or I'm going to stab him or some shit. They bundled her up and made her stand outside holding a sign that says, I want to stab and kill my brother, to punish her, and left her out in the cold. Now, there's a lot of details to this, which we'll get to, but everybody saw that the kid was standing out of the house getting punished, and everybody lost their shit. This is a bad thing. You can't do the old school punishments. Like when I was a kid, Dad would whip my ass. When Jim was a kid, I would chase his ass around and fucking kick it as hard as I fucking could. This dad is, he was like arrested, and now he's going to lose his job as a police officer because he made the kid stand outside shaming her. And people don't like that type of punishment these days. You cannot do that. If your child actually stabs your brother or his or her brother, you can't even get mad. So if the 6-year-old stabs the other kid, you have to like congratulate the kid and buy her like presents. You can't actually punish your children these days. And that's what this guy was saying, but now it looks like he's getting canceled.
A police officer is now on unpaid administrative leave in connection to a January incident. Court documents state a child was forced to stand outside in the cold, holding what neighbors called a disturbing sign.
Fox 59's Ginny Drasler was at today's board meeting in Logansport, where the future of the officer's employment was put to a vote.
In a unanimous vote, the Logansport Board of Public Works and Safety Committee voted to place Officer Cody Scott on unpaid administrative leave.
Oh, my God.
Court records show Scott is charged with 2 counts of neglect of a dependent, both level 6 felonies.
So if I did this to my brother and I was standing outside in 1976, the locals would drive by and say, yeah, don't do that anymore, you little asshole. They'd want to put a boot in my ass.
Scott had been placed on paid administrative leave since the incident happened in January. Logansport Police Chief Travis Yike spoke at today's meeting.
Officer Scott was notified of the matter at his residence. Since then, he has turned himself in, and his wife, I believe, had turned herself in as well. They have both bonded out and awaiting
they're charging him with child
trial
abuse.
date.
This all stems from when police say a child.
I want to stab and kill my brother. I even take an antipsychotic. If you need to give pity, then give it to the victims. So this is excellent work by the mother and father. They realize that they have a school shooter on their hands. So this is what you do. You make her say that, and she's going to be a school shooter anyway. This is finally seeing something and saying something. For the first time ever, someone has seen something and they've said something. And now, because of that, everyone is attacking this hero, these 2 heroes of this cop and his wife who have turned on this little 6-year-old psycho. Thank God. I love this.
Child in Scott's care was forced to stand outside in frigid temperatures with a sign that read, quote, I want to stab and kill my brother. I even take an antipsychotic. If you need to give pity, then give it to the victims. Scott's wife, Kylie Scott, is also charged with 2 counts of neglect of a dependent.
That's not neglectful. That is being caring. You are a community pillar. If you're doing Minority Report level pre-crime, that's fucking great. They know this kid is going to shoot a school.
We've reached out multiple times to the Cass County court system and to the special prosecutor to get a probable cause affidavit, but it's still unclear why those documents are not available.
Okay, for the first time ever, someone is not actually killing the child. They're actually doing this great thing to save the community, and they're being punished.
Despite the judge in the case stating they're no longer under seal. We spoke to Rebecca Gibbs, who reported the incident to police back in January.
Busybody.
I'm a mother myself. I felt, it was sickening, disgust. That's what it was, that somebody can do that to a child.
No, we need to support this family.
And to know that that's a police officer that's doing that to the child, that's even worse. It was horrible.
No.
I wouldn't let my dog sit outside for an hour, let alone my child.
Well, I wouldn't either. But unless if it's a child who's going to kill everyone. This is Damien. Fuck this shit.
And court documents show this may not have been the only incident like this. Charging documents also indicate Scott put one of his dependents in danger by making them hold demeaning signs at school and in public. Court documents state that those signs were, quote, so offensive in nature that it put in danger the dependent's physical and mental health. Officials with the Logansport
Board... Was it a sign that said, kick my ass?
Board of Public Works and Safety Committee.
I hate N-words. Is that what he did?
They say once the criminal investigation is complete, the board will conduct an internal investigation about Scott's future employment. In Logansport, Jenny Drasler, Fox 59 News.
Jenny, thank you. Both Scott and his wife are due in court tomorrow for their initial hearing at 1 p.m.
Oh, my God. Molly says, Eric Zane, I agree with you for once. Well, there we go. That's perfect. Yoda World says, I wonder if it was a boy, if they'd have the same tune. Young Adam Schwab says, asshole of the day is the mom who snitched. Rebecca says, using shame as a punishment is prime parenting. Oh, I did that all the time. I'd make Jim and Jack hold hands and stare at each other in front of the house until they were laughing. Do not let go of your sister's hand. Do not let go of your brother's hand. If you guys are going to fight in the house, you're going to fight in front of everybody. Go ahead and fight out in front, you couple of assholes. A little bit more about this. All right, hang on a second. Now I'm lost. Let's see. Well, sir, aside from me, okay, according to a probable cause affidavit, the body camera footage showed the busybody calling the police saying this baby is standing out here in the freezing cold with a sign. The mom and dad said she comes in every 20 minutes. She has warm clothes. She's fine. This is the punishment. Child Protective Services immediately got after it. The 6-year-old was interviewed by the caseworker, and the 6-year-old told the officials that she had previously been grounded and told to stay in her room, even if she had to use the bathroom, and said that her brother did not receive the same punishments as her. Additionally, the documents state that the caseworker found the girl had been made to hold a sign multiple times as punishment in another incident. The sign that the kid brought to school, I have it here. The other story didn't have it, but this one has it. This is the sign that she brought into school. I pee on everything and cover it up like a cat. And in another instance, she carried a sign reading, I lie to hurt other people. She had to bring that one to Walmart. I wish I'd done this with my kids. Then they wouldn't lie to me now. Maybe. God knows I tried to keep them from lying to me in the past. They still lie to me now. And they're two of them are almost 30. Motherfucker. All right. So I think as a duty, the parents did the right thing in informing the rest of the kids that this psychopath pees on everything and covers it up like a cat. Because you got to let school justice take care of things here. If this kid's going around the house trying to stab people and takes anti-crazy drugs, you want to have somebody kick her ass in the school. And now, because of that, the mom and dad are going to be out of a job. Holy shit. God damn it. How many times do we have to hear from an old fucker like me say, yeah, I got the shit kicked out of me and everything's cool? I think the pendulum has swung way too far. Trump needs to sign an executive order demanding that everyone beat their children. That is the only way we can save humanity, frankly. God damn, that's embarrassing. Bob says, I bet gentle parenting is why Tophus is the way he is. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Maureen says, 2 out of my 3 still lie to me too. Yeah, I don't even ask questions anymore. I just find out later on my own. I never ask. And then I just find out through just observing. If I ask anything, I will be lied to. God damn it. All right, let me see if there's anything to discuss left with you or anything left to discuss. Got Tracy Morgan throwing up. Trump's JFK files. Oh, yes, we do have something to talk about. My God. I don't know if you remember this video of Mark Gastineau, former NFL defensive player who got his single-season sack record broken a number of years ago by Michael Strahan. On the last play of the game, he got the final sack to break Gastineau's single-season sack record. And Gastineau was at the game, and he was all proud of Michael Strahan. But then he found out later on that Brett Favre, who he got the sack against, may have taken a dive so that Strahan could get the sack. Once Gastineau found out about this, I guess he got pissed off, and he's been pissed off for the last 20 years about it. They did a special about this team of defensive stalwarts on the New York Giants, and Gastineau was featured in it. And there was a video crew with Gastineau, and they said, all right, we're going to go accost Brett Favre at this event where he's autographing things for money. You go up to Brett Favre, and you give him the business. So Gastineau did, and this is how that went. It was an ambush. And Favre, it was crazy because I remember when I talked about this before, I said, this is like the only time I felt bad for Brett Favre in a long time. Here's that moment when Gastineau goes after Favre in an ambush-style moment. And Favre thinks it's just going to be, oh, hey, I never had the pleasure of meeting you. You're a legend.
We met a long time ago. At least I saw you.
Right.
How you doing?
When you fell down for him. I'm going to get my sack back. I'm going to get my sack back, dude.
You probably would hurt me.
Well, I don't care. You hurt me. You hurt me. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You really hurt me. You hurt me, Brett.
We got to get back to this, Brett. I'm sorry.
All right, now Favre went ahead afterwards and said, I never in my life ever meant to do that to hurt anyone. And he didn't come out and say that he took a dive, but he did. And then Favre also said, it isn't just about the record. I mean, if Mark Gastineau still had that record, he is right. I mean, it does hurt him both financially and personally. A lot of these NFL players who didn't make generational wealth like they do now, like Gastineau, he played in the 80s. He doesn't have any money. And so if he can sign all-time sack single-season leader on a thing, he can command more dollars. So Favre actually said he is right by that, but I didn't mean anything by it. And I'm very, very apologetic. And he did all the right things, amazingly. Usually Favre's an idiot. But that was that. Now Gastineau is suing ESPN. So the crew that was shooting the video for the documentary, like everybody was in on it. The crew, they planned to go after Favre. Gastineau was in on it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go. He was pissed. There's no doubt about that. But he was involved in the setup. It wasn't like a hidden camera. He turned around now, and he's suing the people that he was in on it with for, quote unquote, making him look bad because he knows he looks like a bitch. And he's suing for $25 million. He says he was portrayed maliciously false in the clip. I don't know what judge or legal mind could possibly agree with this CTE-addled moron for this nonsense. He said that encounter had been included by ESPN without his consent or permission. That seems ridiculous to me. You drove there with the camera crew. You were with, they were like, hey, go talk to Favre about your sack record and we'll shoot video. You knew exactly what you were doing. So this will go nowhere, but I hope it goes somewhere. I hope it goes to a point where there's actually somebody in cross-examination representing ESPN to talk to this fucking idiot. He is saying that this was an inaccurate portrayal, and he has been attacked on social media with ridicule, scorn, and contempt. How insane is that? You did it. It was your behavior that did it and led to that awkward moment. You decided to do it. He said that the suit that ESPN intentionally and maliciously did not publish a key part of the encounter with Favre. So, like, he's claiming that there was some nice moment between them. I don't believe that. During this private encounter between Mark Gastineau and Brett Favre, Gastineau was visibly upset and emotional with Favre. However, both Gastineau and Favre shook hands at the commencement of this conversation, the lawsuit states. The edited clip was featured in both the promotion of 30 for 30. Well, yeah, that's a great clip. What grown man who's 6'6", 255 pounds is going to look at another grown man and say, "You hurt me. I'm a bitch. You hurt me." You can't say that. You hurt me? Come on. That is awful. That's hurtful. Oh, my God. You fucking idiot. How awful is that? Jeremy writes, who's a fussier bitch, Mark Gastineau or Freebeer? Boy, I don't know. It's a tough one. Probably Freebeer. We have more instances and examples. And Freebeer doesn't sue us when he does that shit. At least not yet. I'm hoping someday soon I could use the publicity. Well, anyway, I think the deal is now sealed on the asshole of the day, which I'll get to in a second. As always, feel free to send me news stories that you think are interesting that I should be talking about. If something catches your eye as interesting and whatnot, just send it along, Eric at ericzaneshow.com on the Shortliner Striping inbox. Thank you to Frank Fuss. If you need health care on the marketplace, you know, Obamacare, there's plenty of ways to do this, not the least of which going to healthcare.gov yourself and filling out all of the necessary spots on the online form. However, that takes time, and there's a pretty fair chance you might screw it up. It's much easier to just have the licensed insurance specialist on the Eric Zane Show podcast, Frank Fuss, help you out. If you want to use Frank's services, they are free to audience members anywhere in the U.S. Go to buyinsurancehere.com for more information. Fill out that form, buyinsurancehere.com. That's B-U-Y, insurancehere.com. Fill out that form, and then Frank will reach out to you, and you can begin the process. Typically, people who need this type of health care are people who are like in business for themselves, or perhaps their boss does not offer health care, or out of work. Frank can help you. Buyinsurancehere.com. Maureen says, my foster dog's former owner wants to sue us for keeping her dog. LOL. Bring it on, bitch, she says. All right. Dave says, asshole of the day is coffee guy. Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just going with what I wrote down because we just talked about it. It is Mark Gastineau. Coffee guy's an asshole too, but holy shit. That is your asshole of the day, brought to you by our friends at TC Paintball, online at tcpaintballgr.com. Don't forget to join me on Cameo, cameo.com/Eric Zane, if you want me to salute somebody or rip somebody in a roast. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you. I appreciate the support, you being on the podcast. This is episode number 1490. In a couple of weeks, we will be at 1,500. Holy cow. That's going to do it for me. Talk to you on the Patreon. Bye-bye. Molly, I can tell somebody to get a job if you pay.